Alright, today I'm going to show you how to make an ugly doll using some felt and our little sewing kit that we have here in this tub. First thing you're going to need is 2 pieces of felt. If they don't exactly match up, it's okay. I'm just going to line them up the best I can, and then I'll just cut off the parts that are uneven. I'm not going to throw these away because we can use the scraps later for something else. Go ahead and cut off that part. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is make the face. So to do that, I'm going to just use these little scrap pieces of felt, and I'm going to cut out some eyes. Then I'm going to need to sew those on. I think I'll just probably sew his mouth. And this tin, we've got the one with the number, we have some needles. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my needle, put that back. And then I'm going to have to thread my needle. Remember, you're going to want a piece of paper. Just to thread your needle, just stick the paper in, or stick the thread in the paper. And then just put it in the hole, like so. And then when we're sewing, we double up the thread. It's going to make sure the 2 ends are even. Make a loop, stick the ends in, tie a knot, like that. So now I have my knot on one end and my needle is on the other end. I'm going to go ahead and sew my eye onto the felt. Now be careful when you're pushing this needle through that you don't poke yourself. I'm just going to go, I went in through both pieces of fabric. I want the knot on the back. And then for the second one, I'm just going to go in the blue fabric. That way I'm sewing the eye to this blue fabric. And make sure that you're pulling the thread all the way through every time. And now I'm going to stick in this little pupil. This one's going to be a little tougher. I'm just going to go in through the back, but since I'm going in through 3 pieces of fabric, it might be a little tougher, and because it's smaller, I'm going to be really careful with my finger. If you need to, sometimes it helps to kind of push the needle on the table to kind of get it to go through like that. And on the back, I'm just going to tie a knot. So I just make a loop around my finger, take the needle, take it through this loop, and I'm going to pull it. And as I'm pulling the needle, I'm pushing down the knot so that it stays right next to the fabric. And then cut it. And then I'm ready to sew the next eye. I'm going to have to get some more thread. So I'm going to come in here. When you're getting the thread, just pull it from the end, and we want to leave this paper part on. This is called embroidery floss, and I'm just going to pull it from the end gently. Till I have enough. Alright, now that I have the eyes done, I'm going to go ahead and do the mouth. I think I'm going to make him sad. And I'm just going to use another piece of scrap felt and cut my shape out. I think I might just do it that way. And then I'm going to sew this on. Okay, so I finished up the face on this one, and now I also went ahead and put a face on the back. You don't have to. I just used a back stitch and some embroidery stitches to add some features. Now we're going to sew these two together. So we're going to put them back to back. One's the front, one's the back. Remember, I already have my thread ready. My needle's on this side. The knot is on this side. So just take the two ends, stick them together, and then tie the knot on this end. You want to do the knot kind of close to the end so we don't waste any of the thread. And then I can just cut off any extra I have. And my needle's on the other end. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to just make what we call a whip stitch around all of the edges. So I'm going to go in from behind and come all the way up. Remember when we were doing embroidery, we did a running stitch that went up and down. This time we're just going to go up. So I'm going to take it around and back up. And I'm going to go all the way around my edges except for the top. I'm going to leave the top open for now because I want to add stuffing, and if I don't leave the top open, I won't be able to add stuffing. You want to make sure that your stitches are fairly close together. If you do them really far apart from each other, then your stuffing is going to come out the sides. When you start to run out of thread, I'm almost out, so I'm going to put in this last stitch. I'm not going to pull it all the way through. I'm going to leave a little bit loose so that I can come back with my needle and go under that stitch and pull. And I'm going to go under the stitch again. And through, went under the stitch, and now I'm going to go back through this loop, whoops, that I'm making right here. And pull it. That way my stitches don't come loose, and I can just cut that off and then get some more thread. I have some stuffing in this container, and I'm just going to pull some out. Now with the stuffing, what you don't want to do is you don't want to just wad it all up really tight like that, because your ugly doll won't be very soft. So we're going to take it off in little pieces, and we're just going to stuff it inside. Remember, you're going to want some room to sew the top closed, so you don't want to put too much in there. And now that it's stuffed, now I can close the top of it. So you're just going to want to pinch the top as you sew it. If it's easier, we do have some pins to pin it close. If it's too hard to pinch it while you're sewing it. I'm going to do my last stitch. I'm going to go under this loop, under, oops, like so, whoa, under, but I didn't want to pull it that tight, and then through, back through that loop. So remember, I'm going under the stitch, and then back through this loop to do my finishing knot. Then I can cut it. And now I'm done with my ugly doll. So he's got a happy face and he's got a sad face.